Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about human augmentation. As I see it right now, there's 4 obvious flaws with the human body that seem to really need improvement, and it's obvious in my mind that they do need improvement. For one thing, right, it's very fragile. The human body is very fragile, and there are some situations where it finds itself in that it gets itself in real big trouble, where there's no really easy way to get out of it, and there's no real gain in having stay in that pain or stay in a situation where you don't want to find yourself in. Well, for one thing, there's the human body, the human throat, for example, right? It's evolved naturally. It evolved naturally because of the need to suck in air and to feed food, right? Feed nutrients into the body. And because nature is a crude mechanism, because nature, when left alone to evolve any mechanism to survive, would take simply the path of least resistance. It won't take the path where it would evolve anything more complex or anything more functional than what a simple solution can already provide. And that's what happened with the throat, right? Through the same pipe we feed in both air and food, right? Both critical elements that any organisms need. And because of that, there's this choking problem. And the way we solve it regularly, or the way we solve it normally, is to have two person in a situation where one person is choking, perform a Heimlich maneuver on the person that's choking. So let's say you find a situation where you can't have another person around, you're eating alone and you choke, right? There's no easy way for you to self-induce a Heimlich maneuver. So that's one area where you can have human augmentation performed on you, so you can self-induce a maneuver where you just thrust in your stomach to force out air into your throat so the food pops out, right? That would save your life in that situation where you can't find anybody else to perform the Heimlich maneuver for you, right? That's one weakness of the human body evolving from nature, right? Where an artificial mean to prevent choking would be necessary. Another obvious flaw, the way I see it, is the pain that we experience in situations where there's no real benefit, there's no real gain in experiencing pain. Right? You can't in any sort of situation turn off your pain response. Right? Let's say you're in a terrible accident and you see your body's mangled, you see your body mangled up, right? You're in real pain. You're all bloodied and bruised. There's no real way to turn off that pain. You can't just think in your mind, okay, I'm stuck in a situation where I'm experiencing pain where there's no real benefits to experiencing it. Right? I'm not gaining anything from experiencing this pain, so all I'm just doing is just waiting here until somebody rescues me while I'm just experiencing this terrible state of pain. I can't just think to my mind, I just want to switch this pain off. You can't do that. And human augmentation can solve that problem, where you switch off your pain response in a situation where you find yourself in. That's painful. Another flaw where I see it is death, right? For example, you can't self-induce death easily. You can't suicide yourself in a painless manner, right? And there are some situations where you might want to have that come in handy also, right? Let's say you're trapped in a situation you really don't want to find yourself in. Suppose forcible confinement, right? And torture, right? And this doesn't really have to be induced by a third party or induced by somebody else. Torture and confinement can happen in situations where nature just imposes these conditions on you, right? you find yourself in a torturous situation, or a situation where you're confined, let's say in a cave-in, right? Or let's say you're trapped in a snowstorm somewhere, and there's no real way of getting back into civilization. You're confined, right? There's no chance of getting out of this confinement, or you're tortured. There's no real chance of getting out of this torturous situation. So death in that situation would be a positive option. So how are you going to induce death in that situation? Also, right? The way you induce the non-experiencing of pain is not possible, as well as inducing the self-suicide option is not possible, right? So inducing self-suicide could be realistic and could be of benefit when you find yourself in situations where there's absolutely no chance of you having a good existence, having an enjoyable existence, right? So death could be solved by augmentation, right? Self-suicide, right? Could be set as an option, right? And that solves the problem of painlessly inducing death. Another option, another flaw I see in the human body is the opportunity for somebody to have the possibility of raping you, right? And this especially for women, right? There's every possibility if you run into a situation where you find somebody that you don't know, or you can't really know, that he would take the opportunity to take advantage of you, right? To rape you, right? And I see this as a mechanical problem, right? It could be a mechanical problem where you just take away the mechanics of being possible, having this possibility of somebody mechanically doing this action, right? You take away the mechanics, then there's no possibility of rape, right? Let's say you find yourself in this dangerous situation and you just clamp up, right? You clamp close your orifices, then there's no possible chance of forcible penetration, right? You take away the mechanics, then the problem just doesn't exist anymore, right? Anyway, something to really think about. That's it for now.